What's up? What's up? It's your girl, Dr. Tarika Lewis, otherwise known as Dr. Lou, your partner in progress. And I help people succeed using training and education. It's been a really long time since I've been live, and I'm so happy to be back with you guys. I'm just going to take a quick second to make sure that you guys are seeing me and hearing me. And while I do that, I just kind of want to chat it up with you because, like I said, it's been a while. So, as I'm looking at my other devices just to make sure things are good, giving people a chance to get on. This is a late night live, and so I don't expect you to necessarily be watching this live. You may be watching it via the replay, and that's okay too. And if that's you, I want you to jump in the comments and just type in replay. Go ahead and put in replay for me. But for those of you that are watching live, like I said, I'm just going to make sure that you guys have good good reception coming in right now as we get started. So it's been a really long time since I've been live, and that's kind of what I wanted to talk to you guys about. With so much that's going on, I'm seeing, you're definitely seeing me on YouTube. I'm on all my channels right now, guys. So you could be catching me via Facebook or Twitter. You could also be catching me on my YouTube channel, which is Evolve and Expand. And there's a couple of other ways that you might be catching this. It doesn't really matter. What matters is that we're here together. And so I do see. Okay, so I definitely know that at least a couple of the channels are hearing me. So anyway, it's a lot that's been going on, and usually in the past I've steered clear of a lot of topics that you're going to find that as we evolve and expand together. So anyway, I won't be steering clear of those topics anymore. So again, that's kind of what I wanted to talk to you guys about. Number one, why I haven't been online lately, and number two, um, just a couple of things to expect going forward. And if there would be a third thing, it's going to be that there are a lot of things that I have in the works right now that I'm working on just for you guys, because I really do think it's time to make sure that my team and the people who support me are also getting what they need from me. And so I'm kind of on another page. And so I don't want to get into the why just yet. I want to take it one step at a time. So for those of you that have just joined, again, my name is Dr. Sharika Lewis. People call me Dr. Lou, and I help people succeed using training and education. You may be watching this on the replay, and I've already asked you before, if you are, just jump into the comments and put replay in there so I'll know. And I'll make sure to respond to your comments as quickly as possible. So anyway, so glad to be here with you. It's a late night live today, and that I'm doing the broadcast initially, and that you'll be seeing me for those of you that will be watching it live. And I've got supporters from other coasts and stuff, so it may be that you're seeing me early in the morning or at a different point during the day or on any of my social media platforms. But I wanted to talk to you guys today first and foremost about why I haven't been here, and why I haven't been online, why I haven't been showing up like I used to. And why is because things are shifting for me in a major way, and I just don't have time for anything that's not just authentic, but that's raw and 100% everything that I have to give you in that moment, and of the best and most value to you that it can possibly be. And so that includes content, that's going to include courses, that's going to include teaching and tutoring and coaching and so many other things. So I can't say, it's probably been a couple months, probably longer than that, since I've gone live, and since I dropped new major content, even though I've been posting on social media. And I want to talk to you guys a little bit about why. And that is quite simply because my family has been experiencing the nightmare as that's known as COVID, and all of its various and sundry parts. And I say that because we hear a lot about COVID. We've seen all the debates. We've seen the drama in stores and businesses when people do and don't want to wear masks. I'm not here to talk to you about whether or not people should wear masks. I'm not here to talk to you about whether or not people should get vaccinated, but I am here to be raw, authentic, and honest about my experience with COVID, my family's experience with COVID. And I hope that with more people being honest and forthcoming and transparent to a certain degree about their experience with it, that it loses some of its mystique, and that people can then make more informed decisions. And so I say that to say, first and foremost, and I've said first and foremost a kabillion times, so, but I say that to say this: COVID did hit my household, and in a major way. And for those of you that know me personally, you know that that's major for me because I always jokingly call myself a borderline germaphobe. So I really did do everything I could. I wasn't necessarily afraid of catching COVID, so I wasn't paranoid, but I felt like that you can take the proper precautions to protect your life, your body, your health, and your strength, in addition to kind of paying attention to the science that's out there and then using your common sense to see what parts of that and how you want to apply it in your everyday life. I also, in my consulting work, do a lot of work with the CDC. And I'm not going to be too specific as to how, because that's sort of like another lane in my life. I'm not your partner in success and progress because of that. Most of you that follow me on social media, most of you that watch my YouTube videos, most of you that partake of my content, my coaching, my consulting, my teaching, my tutoring, all the other stuff, you're not with me because of that experience at all. But it's just another thing that I do in helping businesses and organizations to succeed using training and education as well. It's kind of where I developed a great deal of the skill set that I bring to bear for you guys every day. So I say that to say I pay attention in the other environments as well. And anything that I can learn that benefits all of us in terms of application and professional practice, I do try to apply that too. So I was aware of the things that I needed to do in order to be as responsible as possible when it comes to this pandemic. And again, I'm not here to debate the details. It's enough people in your ear that are YouTube experts, meaning they watched a few videos and now they think they can tell you what you should do. That's not the page that I'm on. But I do think that the impact that I want to talk to you about tonight and during this video, during this live broadcast, that it is overlooked a lot, when it comes to addressing the concerns, the side effects, and the challenges that are associated with COVID. But it needs to be front and center, and that is the aspect of how COVID impacts you emotionally and how it impacts your life. And I'm not just talking about for people who catch COVID, I'm also talking about just the pandemic. I don't think that people are really acknowledging the level of stress and overwhelm. And I know you've heard these words before, so you're like, yes, we are. But I think that a lot of the screaming in stores and all that other stuff is really because people are feeling so triggered by COVID and the concept of it and the thought of it, and the fact that those things that they used to find familiar and comforting that are no longer accessible to them because of COVID. I think that it puts people in panic mode. And when people get in panic mode, there's a lot of fight or flight going on. And some people in this world tend to fight quicker than they flee. And so, because of that, and we fight in different ways, I think that has a lot to do with the debates. So, to make a long story short, and I will go into further detail and really share more openly and in a more personal connection on my The Adventures of Dr. Lou YouTube channel. In the coming probably weeks or months, I'll be dropping a video that kind of vlogs and shares my family's perspective. And we'll talk a little bit about our specific experiences and what we've done and how we're handling it and what we're doing going forward. But I want to talk to you here in this space about the emotional impact of COVID and how it has impacted me and how that has a lot to you have not seen me. So my family, in short, just to get you up to speed as to why I'm talking about this, we got impacted with COVID earlier at the top of the year, just about. And it kind of trickled in because one of us had to still be out working, had to still be out interacting with people and engaging. And so no matter how careful we were, obviously they caught it. And then even though the household was being careful, we still caught it too. And it wasn't so much just the virus itself and how it impacted our health that I saw that had the most devastating effect. It was the emotional upheaval and disappointment. First, in catching it, even though we did what we felt needed to be done to protect ourselves, and that included, listening to both sides of the issue. And I say both, there are a lot of perspectives on the issue, but there are two prevailing mindsets in terms of how to address or avoid or not worry about this particular issue. We did all the stuff and things, and the bottom line is we still caught it. And it wasn't just minor. I'm a person that doesn't go down easy. I can go years without catching anything major, without coming down with anything major. And it took me out of action for well over a month. just and it was the fatigue and just the challenges with focusing. There are things that I still struggle to remember right now that I had no problem remembering beforehand, because my brain is part of, it's part of how I make my money, is being able to be quick on my feet and think of solutions to problems, where you have to be able to articulate the solutions and remember the things that you know in order to do that. And so I just wasn't as readily able to do that as I had hoped. And again, I don't want to go off into too much detail about our physical experiences with COVID. I want to save the more of the detail of that for later when we talk about it and tell you how it impacted the whole family. But the point is, it took me out of the game at a point in time when I was on the verge of launching my first major course in this particular business. In other words, I've been building learning content for decades for organizations, large and small, and everybody else. But I was finally ready to launch my first major course for my clients, and to know that it was going to have the quality that I felt like you guys deserved. And right when I was ready to wrap up editing of all of the video lectures and all that other stuff, right when I was ready to wrap up putting it together and launch it, that's when I got knocked down. So I was so disappointed. It was so depressing. I was so angry that it took me a long time to get past it and get moving again. And I still think I'm working on it right now. And again, that's super important to acknowledge, because uh, nobody talks about that. Nobody talks about how it feels to be taken out. And the funny thing about COVID is this: 1 minute you're fine, and the next minute you are questioning if you're going to be able to be there for your kids anymore. And that's what I went through. When you can't breathe and your oxygen content is so low that you're worried about if you could even get yourself to the hospital, it's time to you start really looking at your life. And I had already been thinking about those big picture questions that we all have before that, just because being in the house with the pandemic raging on as it was, the kind of work that I do allowing me to work from home, you start looking around and thinking about, is it worth it? Not so much for fear of anything, just because like, for me, I realized that I had worked really hard. I had some things, some belongings, some spaces that I had worked hard to get into. But I started looking at what legacy that I really have that made all of it worth it, and how long I had been working really, really hard. And so you're already thinking about your life in these terms. And then for that to hit, and I found myself a little concerned about whether or not I would be going on. And I don't, I it was unexpected for me for a lot of reasons. Number one being, I don't have comorbidities that would have suggested that it was going to hit me hard. Number two, my symptoms were just what I consider to be strange. Right? I wasn't doing the things or feeling the things that would make you think, uh-oh, I've caught this virus and now I have to stop and take care of myself. So it was hard to even explain the symptoms that I was having. The only thing that made it obvious, number one, you can't ignore a positive test. Number two, when you can't breathe and you can't breathe. So it was just, how do you go from getting around just fine the day before, doing a really high impact workout, to being on your back? So, to go through that for a period of time, at when it was crunch time for me, and when it was, to me, game changer time. And then to try to get up from that when the momentum was now impacted was devastating. It was depressing, sincerely, authentically, and completely depressing. And so, how do you then push forward and stay motivated and motivate others when you feel that way? So, I had to figure out all of that, and I'm still figuring it out. But what I made a commitment to do, number one, is to show up. Show up. Every opportunity that I get, as promised, whether I feel 110%, whether I'm ready to move the world forward as I know it, whether I feel like my hair looks great or my skin is clear, all of the other stuff and things, whether or not the content is, whether or not I feel perfection, I still show up. And I can honestly tell you that I think that was a welcome change for me. And that's why I'm here tonight, even though it's late, is to show up. So again, if you're watching this on the replay and you can relate, put show up in the comments. If you've ever been challenged to show up even when it wasn't easy, and you know what it feels like to push past something like this, I want you to put in the comments show up. And if you don't, if you feel like maybe you are not showing up, I want you to put help. That doesn't mean that you're asking me to help you, but acknowledgement is going to be the first step to things getting better. But anyway, so I made a commitment to show up. Number two, I made a commitment to authenticity, because I don't have time. I don't want to waste time. I won't say I don't have time. I don't want to affirm that. I choose not to waste time anymore. Not my time nor yours. And not that I was wasting your time before. My content always, I felt like, was the best quality, was the best that I had to give. And I don't give you anything or offer you anything that I don't think is life changing if I haven't used it myself or helped other people, lots of people, before I share it with you. So I don't share anything I don't believe in. But just the authenticity to say, I'm here. Maybe it's a rough day, but I also still have something to offer you that I think is worth it. And I'm going to keep my commitment to you the same as I would if I were doing it for another employer. I'm going to do that for my team, for myself, for my people. And so that's, the other commitment that I made to myself. And again, that's why I'm here, even though it's late at night. And not a lot of you are watching. You'll be watching on the replay. And it took me a while to build up and all these other self-criticisms that I could think of right now. But I think it's worth it. And number three, I'm more committed than ever to making sure that when I look back over my life, at any given point in time, the things that I invested the most work in, I want to make sure that they are of the utmost value, that they are worthy of that. And it goes without saying that I give my very best to my family, my friends, and my loved ones. And they'll tell you that, they'll attest to that. But I also want to make sure that in my work, it is not work for the sake of work. It is not work because it's simply, I'll put it this way, it is the very best that you could have through any lens or means that I have to give it. I'm not going to let you guys down. I'm not going to waste my time. And I'm also not going to hide. I'm not going to just close down and shut down anymore. But if things aren't necessarily perfectly going my way, I'm going to make sure that anytime I show up, I have something valuable to give you that makes it worth your time to sit with me. And so the not so fun impact that COVID had on my family was, it was emotionally, I I I I would say devastating was extreme, but no, it really was emotionally devastating. And I'm still not sure of the impact that it had in terms of the fact that, I did launch the course um, quietly. And so maybe we'll call it a semi launch or something like that. And it is available now for people looking to level up, to improve their money, their careers, and their relationships. I did manage to get up and to start creating again, to finish what I started. And I do plan to put myself out there more and more in the coming days, weeks, and months, doing more for you to benefit from, so that you can build a life experience that you desire and deserve, so that you can use training and education to achieve your dreams, or to succeed, or to just survive a little better, whatever you're looking for. Um, yeah, from here on, every day that I do anything, I will make sure that it's worth it, and not for the sake of doing because I have to. And so it starts here. It starts today. It starts now. I plan on going live weekly. You'll see YouTube content weekly. You'll see me launch more and more courses. Like I said, the Better Money Career and Relationship course is live. And if any of you message me or comment below this video, I will definitely put the link in the comments for you guys, and make sure that I make it easy for you to access. Because I do think that if we learn nothing else with COVID, we need to take control of our money. We need to take a more proactive stance in our career, and we need to make sure our relationships are right. We don't just need to come together in the case of an emergency or in the case of a disaster and then go right back. Because what I realized that was even more devastating and depressing is how easy it is to get super busy and just get into a routine. Wake up in the morning, get ready, go to work, come home, spend some quality time with your kids, go to sleep or watch TV, and then go to sleep, rinse and repeat. And while that sounds like that, I put it this way, That's not a horrible life to live. There are people that would love to have that don't want any one element of that. But at the same token, it's survival. It's not thriving, is it? Or you only you can answer that. But for me, I have so much more to give in this world. And so I'm thankful that I'm here on this side of COVID. I'm up and around. I'm still figuring out those philosophical answers, those personal answers for me as to how do I make this life matter? How do I make it more meaningful? How do I do the things that I realized I hadn't done that worried me the most when it came time to be down for a while. If that had been the last time that I got to do things the way that I do them, if that had been the last time I got to be up and at them, I can't say that would have been okay with me. And for that reason, I'm committed to making some changes to ensure that will never ever happen to me again. That I'm sitting there wondering that I'm feeling that way. I'm gonna always want to be around to be there for my kids, my husband, take care of myself, and all that stuff. I'm not saying that those things weren't there and that's not my truth. That always was. I had no regrets there. But there's a world beyond my four walls that hasn't met me yet. And so, hello, my name is Dr. Tarika Lewis, and I'm here to support you being successful beyond your wildest dreams because my life has been changed forever, and I know that yours can too. And I'm here to support you. So, until next time, I will be sure to start uploading more consistent updates. I will include the course link in the comments in the description. I will keep you guys posted because I'm working on a couple of really cool things, including a podcast. And so the first few episodes of that will be available really soon on iTunes and other platforms. But I'll keep you guys posted. There'll be so many ways that we're going to grow, we're going to evolve and expand together. And I can't wait to take those steps with you. So until next time, it's your girl, Dr. Tarika Lewis, otherwise known as Dr. Lou, your partner in success and progress. As always, I love you. I believe in you. And for now, I am out.